It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Alaja Nima Akashat. Zibri, how are you today?
Good morning. So yesterday I slept very late.
Oh, you look it.
Gisting with my husband after house chores. And
after the gisting, what happened?
What led to the gist is that after my chores, I decided to just catch on the news. And the news that popped up started like comedy. I laughed till night. It was from one comedy joke to the other. We've not had such laughs in a long time. So as I just look at my phone like this, I just see the picture of the governor, new sworn-in governor of Kogi State, and his new executive order. He created the office of the immediate past governor to be domiciled within the government house in Kogi State. As I saw the news, I don't have all those kind of reaction. I thought I was at Alibaba January 1st. I laughed. I couldn't stop laughing. If I went at work, I had a bit of a cough because I laughed so hard. I've not had such laugh in a long time. I want to believe, as I laughed,
it's a joke.
It's a joke.
It was a joke. It has to be a joke.
We hope with you.
It has to be a joke.
You know, I was like, now Wike will not be saying to Simi Fubara that, see you. Is that not your
See your mates. See your legs.
Happy birthday. Bello get two heads. See your mates.
Nigeria, very interesting. And the governor has the chest to create that kind of thing.
I'm telling you. Just the thought of it again.
Let's wait for what the assembly will do.
Let's do. It might be a joke. You know, April is around the corner. April Fool, How are you doing, Tokwe?
April and January.
I'm very good. Grateful to God for life. So we're planning a conference. I haven't said
February
it
17th, right?
Yes, it's really close. I'm planning a conference, the Game of Money conference. It's targeting those who are already earning money, who, you know, there's something happening with inflation. You make money and pum, it's gone, pum, it's gone. And many of us are in that space. So the Game of Money conference, every speaker is told, this is what we're trying to do. How can people that make money know how to manage that money effectively in this inflationary world? How can they multiply their money?
Keep the value.
Preserve.
Exactly.
I have 2 naira. Let it be
2 naira when I want to use it.
Not that way you want to spend, you are looking for extra naira to make.
It's not 50 kobo.
Exactly. So those are the things we're trying to achieve. And we're not looking at everybody, though it's a big conference. There's a form to fill so that we are able to get people who are ready for the knowledge you want to give. You don't want to cast jewels to swine. So if you are very interested, it's a free conference. Please register with the link in my bio on Instagram.
Oshe?
Well done. Doing big things.
Yes, so...
Ladies of Your View doing big things.
Yes, so...
Well done.
So
what's your big
am
thing?
officially independent producer and filmmaker across the globe. So last year, January 2023, I set a goal. I wrote it down. It was in my affirmation. Every morning, and I'm reading my affirmations in the car. I'm sure my driver would think something is wrong with this woman because I read it out loud. And I'm, giving that affirmation. And so I shot Mama Ijiro January 2023. And now it's officially going to be, it was purchased by MultiChoice, officially going to be airing across all DSTV platforms. And I have been producing this is not my first production, but I try as much as possible to build a track record because one of my my goal is to be commissioned as a filmmaker to produce for different organizations, TV series, movies, and talk shows and all of that. That's where that goal is. And I'm excited now. I have some track record I can show you. We've done this and evidence done day. Like I'm really so excited that this has come to fruition and manifestation.
Big things. I was interviewing somebody because we're trying to get ladies.
So wait, the money hits my account yesterday. Bang, bang, bang.
We are going for lunch. We are going for lunch.
We'll talk about that.
Oh, God, Julu.
Importer, exporter, pure water.
Yeah.
Goal setting.
So I was telling, when I was interviewing, I'm interviewing different people because we're trying to get new ladies to come on the show. And one of the ladies came on yesterday and I was interviewing her. And I said, listen, all the ladies on the show, they've grown and they're building big things. They're going global, they're doing stuff. And there's going to be a point in time where you guys, your view will be too small to accommodate your capacity. You know, where you have to get to a point where you have to be, because when you become an international movie star, you can't continue to be on your own.
Darling.
So we need people who can come in and appreciate the platform and build themselves and transition into group, because that's the success of the show. I would like to say that, yes, you've done these great things, and like, oh yeah, she used to be here, she used to be here. That's the beauty, that's the testimony of the show. So congratulations to you guys. I'm really happy. We are doing our own in some ways, but we'll get there. But congratulations.
CMD. Our MD.
What else do they call
we are proud of you guys. Well done. We are proud of you guys. Well done. So, you know, I'm really, really proud to say that you guys are doing fantastic. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. Security men raise bar in battle against kidnappers. Sign attendance register daily. Governor orders council chairman. Russia behind Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, ECOWAS quit threat. Yahaya Bello to replace Ganduje posters flood Abuja. Insecurity, state police calls get louder. Ibadan blast, Makinde lashes at Atiku. CBN injects $500 million into forex market. And 3 feared killed as another communal clash erupts in Osun communities. Okay.
Let me take the Borno governor. So, the Borno state governor, Babagana Zulum, directed local government chairmen to stay in their local government areas. Now, because of, you know, the peculiarities of the Northeast, chairmen go come for election, but then they disappear and collect salaries. So, yes, and you find the area ungoverned. And the governor has said, he has constantly talked about this over and over and over, but it seems to be hitting
which governor is
yes, Governor Zulum of Borno. So yesterday, he gave the directive in Maiduguri, the state capital, where he presided over the swearing-in of 27 elected council chairmen. He also said they are putting biometrics so that they will print 4 times daily. So you print 8 a.m., 2 p.m., noon, and 3:30 p.m. Yes, as governor. And I support him. Come there, press your finger.
Yes,
no sign. I can use my PA to sign. Press your finger, clock it. Clock out. Yes, do it.
I agree.
4 times daily. 8 a.m., noon, 2:30 p.m., 3:30 p.m.
Yes, people should do their
Press
work.
finger. You say you want to stay in a local government, I want to govern them, stay with them.
Stay there.
Yes, stay
And
with
see
them.
the people you are governing. I like it, I beg.
All over the state.
So he also begged them, he talked about them managing the scarce resources that is given to local government. And he also said partner security. You know the peculiarities of the state. You come and do, I'm your son of the soil. Then you go to Abuja and go and be staying. So
fantastic. We need to replicate it across the nation.
Yes,
very important.
Totally. Nima bantered about the governor of Kogi State. I am continuing. It's not a banter. This is fact. She's hoping that was comedy. The fact is, immediately after handing over power, the campaign posters, we shouldn't be having posters in Abuja. This is mega, our capital. But 48 hours after he left office, his posters flooded the entire Abuja, everywhere. And he puts APC next level. He is contesting for the APC national chairman. He's leading the change and building a stronger APC. That's his campaign. The party source was saying in confidence that Bello's move is an attempt to bring back the chairmanship seats to the region. You know, we have zoned it. And it's believed he has the backing of several stakeholders in the North Central. So this is the next move by the former governor of Kogi State, is to go into party leadership as the chairman of the state, of the APC. Let's see how that goes.
Okay.
We're watching. Because if the party doesn't get it right, we don't get it right in leadership, because the parties choose our candidates for us.
At the end of the day. So let's talk about insecurity. It said last Thursday, Katsina State Governor Diko Umar Rada said that states should be allowed to establish their own police commands. He made a call at a 2-day roundtable on insecurity in northern Nigeria, held at the Nigerian Army Resource Center, NAC, in Abuja. And the governors argued that, you know, allowing states to establish the police command will replace existing security outfits. And he explained why. He said the Northwest region, particularly in recent years, has faced an alarming surge in various forms of insecurity, including banditry, kidnapping, insurgency, and communal conflict. And the challenges we know have disrupted lives of countless Nigerians and hindered economic growth and development in those areas. So in addressing the crisis, he says they need to understand the significance of regional cooperation in the fight against insecurity, and several factors must be considered. The first is the cross-border nature of the insecurity. He said that the experience that they have so far is that bandits operate freely between Katsina, Zamfara, and Sokoto. And when you make an attempt to push them out from one state, they go to another state, operate there for a bit, and then go back to their original state. And in their argument also for state policing, they said over 100,000 persons were killed from 2009 to 2015 in Borno alone. This was according to the Vice President Kashim Shettima. Yeah. And he says another 63,111 were killed across the country from June 2015 to May 2023 by terrorists. They broke down all the activities of the terrorists that has happened. And the conversation moved into the fact that for us to have a true federal system, we must have devolution of powers. That's the hallmark of true federalism. Now, what we are operating is federalism through the back, because we're having our security like a unitary system of government, and then we claim that we are operating a federal system. Yeah. And also that for us to be effective in curbing our security issues is that people on ground, the local governments and the citizens, must be in charge of their own security, because they are the ones that understand their terrain, they understand the criminal elements in their state. And so you cannot put somebody from probably Katsina to like an eastern state to understand how their forests work. So state policing is very important, and this is what everybody's clamoring. I agree totally with them.
All right, so Nigeria's former Minister for Foreign Affairs, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, said yesterday that Russia has a hand in Burkina Faso, Niger Republic, and Mali's sudden announcement of departure from ECOWAS. According to him, he says that Russia is seeking to weaken Western influence in Africa. Akinyemi is saying that Russia is emboldening these three countries to break up from ECOWAS as part of their attempt to weaken what one would call the Western influence in the part of the world. Russia has not shown its capability to help these three countries to combat the jihadists they are going through. He says that he feels that this issue is not going to be resolved anytime soon, and they say that they have actually said they will leave immediately, because usually, according to the binding law, they're supposed to leave after a year and continue their responsibilities. They'll give a notice of 1 year and continue the responsibility. But these three countries said they were leaving with immediate effect, and they feel that Russia obviously has a hand in this, emboldening these nations to leave ECOWAS. Moving on now to the Punch. Kidnapping epidemic. Over 17,000 Nigerians abducted under Buhari, Tinubu says report. FG US signed MOU to train police special squad commanders. Naira falls to all-time low at official market sales at 1,348 Naira to the dollar. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger exit may weaken $277 billion ECOWAS trade, says report. Bribery, Lagos CP probes DPO. 2,885 candidates sit computer-based WASI January 31st. Lawmakers accuse Fubara of unlawful conduct. Governor warns pro-Wike appointees. Okay, which story?
I think the CP. So the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Adegoke Fayode, according to the PRO for the force in Lagos, has ordered the DPO, one of the DPOs in Ekpe, to step aside while he's being investigated for allegedly accepting a 2 million naira bribe to release suspected armed robbers. So according to the story, the armed robbers were arrested under his division, and the monarch in Ekpe called him and said that the boys were his boys and they were not armed robbers, and offered him allegedly a 2 million naira check, which he accepted, and then a report was made that he accepted that bribe. So the CP has asked him to step aside while they query his actions and investigate these allegations. But a source said to the Punch, while they were investigating, another police officer not disclosed, said that the issue is that the men, that is not the true account, that it wasn't even a case of a setup, that he has always been in had conflicts with the monarch in question. he refused the check. Another DPO within the jurisdiction in Ekpe, one Noforija, had called him. This is the DPO whose name is Okorua, called him and said to him that, you know, he had an interest in the matter. And so the arrest that was made was for 2 people who were in possession of firearms in a car, and that this was not the case. But they're all hoping that the investigations absorb him of these allegations.
All right, let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the papers. Punch, any story?
Yes, so the story, it's a little drama in the PDP. The Oyo State governor, they said that the former vice president and presidential candidate for APC in 2023, Atiku, has come under fire, that he did not he did not send a condolence message, there was no message from him officially to the governor. The swipe was taken against Atiku by the governor of Oyo State when he hosted the former governor of Anambra State, that's Peter Obi, Labour Party, because Labour Party Labour Party former presidential candidate came to Ibadan to commiserate with him, and he said, we didn't hear anything from I'm happy you came, because it means that you really care about the people, that you as the former presidential candidate came. My own party former presidential candidate did not even send a message. Obi expressed his condolence to the family. We know that 5 people confirmed dead, 77 people were injured, many houses demolished, were taken down, it wasn't demolished, destroyed. And he commended Obi for showing up, and then took his up at the 2023 general election candidate for PDP for not sending a message or not even commiserating with him, and that we shouldn't let politics to seep into our humanity. That actual investigations are going on, but he's happy that he's been getting conversations from people across political barrier, and is appreciating it.
Yeah, so one Mary Ololuwa was allegedly injured on her face by her ex-husband, Olamilekan Morekeji, when she refused to provide him with information on the children. So according to the story, they said both individuals had been experiencing issues in their marriage which resulted to a divorce. And on January 25th at about 2 p.m., they said she was heading to her shop around Bako Estate, and her husband stopped her and asked about the children. But probably the way she responded, he wasn't liking it, and so he beat her up, took a stone and damaged her face, hitting her head. So it was Good Samaritans that actually saved her and quickly rushed her to the hospital and took the matter to the police. So he's been arrested, and they said they will be transferring. That's the Public Relations Officer, Benjamin, who then confirmed the incident and said they will be transferring the case to Gender Office for further investigation. I'm wondering what would result to him using a stone to beat up his ex-wife just because she didn't answer his question.
So the federal government and America have signed an MOU for the training of commanders of the Police Special Intervention Squad to tackle banditry and other raging crimes across the country. The Inspector General of Police, Olukayo Odegbetoko, on Monday inaugurated the training program in partnership with the United States Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs. SIS was created initially to combat crime, and it started in, I think, Play 2 and FCT, but now they're trying to get across to the nation, and they're going to start a training for that. They said that SIS will serve as an elite unit of the Nigerian police force, and it was designed to anticipate, respond spontaneously, and manage crises across the nation, especially on banditry and terrorism. Okay, moving on to Daily Sun. Students abroad groan as Forex rate rises to 1,420 to the dollar. Edo Guba PDP screens Shebu, Igodalo, and others. NAF jet kills, kidnap syndicate in Kaduna. Ibadan explosion, Makinde accuses Atiku of not identifying with Oyo people. WAEC starts computer-based exam tomorrow. And the minimum wage, FG, to inaugurate 37-man tripartite committee soonest. Okay, which one?
Okay, so the management of West African Examination Council, the head of national office, Dr. Amos Josiah Dangote, announced that tomorrow, the first series of private candidates computer-based exams will start. And they are very positive because they have about 8,285 candidates across the federation that have registered for the exams. They explain how it will go. Usually, as the CBT will go, but the essay and practical questions, according to them, will be rendered on screen, and candidates will be required to give their responses using answer booklets provided. And this is, a wave, a progress from the old order that we used to have.
I've done this years ago. This is like outdated in many
now when we
countries
reach,
already.
we do have. When our day break, when we wake up,
I'm telling you.
we'll do it.
Okay, let's story in punch.
So the major headline now, terrible.
Yes, so
Where we are as a country, is a painful thing for students as well as every other person that is doing business with dollar. It is at the end of Monday, dollar traded for 1,450 naira. Did I just say 450? Lord, bring it to the days of 450. We would be rejoicing. It fell to 1,450 naira as of the end of trading day on Monday. On Friday, it was, that's according to the Association for the Bureau, according to Bureau de Change Operators. Friday was 1,420 for those that want to buy property. The official rate was 1,348. That's in the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market on Monday. So it is not looking good for the Nigerian the Naira at the moment. The Forex market is not interesting for those dealing in the business. However, the CBN has already promised, they've paid in 500 million to clear part of the Forex obligation. This is following a recent 2 billion payment that for the same purpose. The bank is also rumored to be owing 7 billion in FX backlog. So I think when we are able to clear the backlog, we'll be able to now enjoy the inflow that we are getting. But the inflow we're getting right now is not doing anything at all for us as a country.
Final paper, Vanguard. ECOWAS were ready to engage Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, says federal government. $20 billion Dangote refinery to import crude from United States. Makinde Atiku at war over Ibadan explosion. Same-sex blessings, Africans are a special case, but everyone will gradually accept, says Pope Francis. Okay, who has Dangote's story so we can move?
No,
I know.
Nobody took it.
Take it now.
Nobody took Dangote.
No, I didn't.
Same-sex is our hot topic. Go ahead. Everybody, go ahead.
So let me just take it. The Catholic Pontiff Pope Francis said that those who criticize his decision to allow blessings for same-sex marriages, couples would come to understand it over time and accept it. But he exempted Africans for our uniqueness. He said for Africans who he referred to as special case.
Wow.
He said our culture perceives homosexuality negatively we perceive it negatively from our cultural perspective, and so it might take a while, but he believes that everybody who spoke against or who is against his order to bless same-sex couple would come around.
Wow.
So I'm reading here.
They special case.
I'm telling you, not being.
No, it's special case me.
According to this story, Dangote Refinery has concluded plans to import crude oil from the United States. You have the story?
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead. I thought you were happened.
Was supposed to get they've gotten 6 million. Obviously. Was supposed to get 6 million from the Nigerian, 6 million barrels from the Nigerian part. That's the Agbami crude facility. They've gotten that, but this is the first time, and it's because of the surplus that the US have, and we don't have that surplus.
Why do we want to buy from them? What's our business with their surplus?
No. Crude, they don't have enough crude. Okay. We don't have enough crude to supply Dangote refineries.
But has he gotten the 6 million?
He has gotten.
Yeah, but that's the
6 million barrels.
6
He has
6 million
gotten,
barrels that he wanted for the
they are
first production.
they said the new 650 barrel a day oil refinery commenced operation. So they need more than 650. This one they have agreed to get
million.
is coming in from February, end of February. So I don't think Nigerians can stop Dangote from collecting oil from wherever I can get the oil on a consistent basis, crude oil from the consistent
The
basis.
problem is when he buys in dollars, he will not want to sell to us in naira. We go back to the beginning again.
Let's not preempt the worst, because there are still conversations on Ipman insisting that they trade to us in naira. So let us wait. And Dangote is
I
yet
just hope
to
that they have
officially
different
communicate
drugs.
to anybody.
Is
So
there
let us
different
wait.
drum
They're
that
not
they will
even
use to
producing
refine
petrol
Nigerian
yet,
crude as opposed to
Let
American?
us wait for their response before we preempt the worst.
Businessman.
Okay, that is all we can take on this paper review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So it has come to the point where people should start to take responsibilities for their actions on social media. Popular comedian Ayo Makum, known as AY, has petitioned the Delta State Police Command over criminal defamation and cyber stalking by one Facebook user identified as Agozi Samuel. Agozi claimed that AY is having an affair with the actor Yu Edochie's estranged wife, May. The man, Samuel, has since recorded a video of apologizing to AY after AY had planned to institute some kind of a suit against him. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Because we've discussed social media actions, cyberbullying, defamation, libel, all sorts of attacks people have on regular citizens. What are your thoughts on this? Because in this situation, this man is pleading for forgiveness. Some comments on social media have asked AY to forgive him. Others are saying, no, he needs to be taught a lesson. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 090-241-16-440-081-076-416-798. You can also tweet to us at TVC Entertainment. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can reach us to it. Who wants to go first?
The matter is painful,
because
yeah. Go ahead.
So for me, I'm all about forgiveness. You know, I truly believe that people can repent and they get forgiven. But I also believe in the power of consequences. Because if we don't have consequences, negative things will thrive. They will thrive like it is already thriving so far, where somebody can create a story in the comfort of their home for selfish purposes that will enrich them and defame another person, which is what this guy did. Cooked up the entire story to paint AY bad because he knows that if he does that, he will get clicks and the clicks will result in money for him without thinking of the consequences. Because he felt that in Nigeria, you can beg and get away with it. We will not allow him to. People are already coming on AY's page to say he should forgive, at least he has apologized. No. The reason why I'm saying no is what he has put out there might never get completely erased. Might never get completely erased. Someone someday will Google and they will see it. They might later not see the retraction, but they will see it and might not know that it's not true. And some people might never get apology. AY is in a position to teach a very, very strong lesson and serve as a deterrent for other people that are always posting whatever they see. Many people will have reshared it. Nah, so I thought I knew say no, say AY no clean as CB, so the form say the day only. Whatever it is, this must be the consequences would help us as a country. It would help us as social media, people that are in the limelight, people of anybody that has a similitude of light shining on them in these days can be defamed.
Yeah, so.
And then they'll come and apologize later and think apology will get it. No, you can. There are consequences for wrong action. You will pay.
This man also said that AY's second daughter wasn't his, but his man's.
Hi, that's
as
deep.
in
How do you do that?
evil.
So,
Forgive and forget.
AY is not Jesus Christ right now. And even if he chooses to forgive, we will not forgive on his behalf, because this has got to stop. People need to understand that you cannot do certain things and get away with it. And even back in the day, or even in the scriptures, when, forgiveness is being pronounced, it still does not absolve you of the consequences of your action. You can be forgiven and be in jail, where you now have an opportunity to give your life to Christ there and, make amends. You can be forgiven, and then the person takes you away from their space. So when we shout forgiveness, we just want people to take rubbish, swallow rubbish, and still leave you around them to be messing up. I can say, you did this and this to me. I'm allowing the law. I'm going to push this, allow the law to take its course, but I've let you go in my heart. I'm not holding you in my heart. It's not personal. But the things that you have done, the damages that you have done, you have to pay for it. It doesn't mean that I'm holding you. So is that unforgiveness? Who is he to AY that AY will be holding unforgiveness? I'm sure AY has forgiven him. But for this action, no, you will get to the end. You will come to the world and explain how you saw me dating another person's ex-wife, or how you saw me impregnating, or how you saw that baby was not mine. You will come and explain. But I've forgiven you. I've cleared myself. I've made my peace with God. But you must face the consequences. Okay. I would like that we, how people do this cancel culture. When you don't like somebody does something, you cancel. These are the people who are supposed to be canceling. These are the people who are supposed to be sending petitions against. Whether he's in Nigeria or not does not stop it. We send petition to Sierra Leone. By the time we bombard, and Nigerians have energy, by the time we bombard them with petitions, they will fish him out and they will arrest him. He will pay for the crimes he has committed. This is a crime against humanity. Leave forgiveness, so we are not Jesus right now.
All right, what are your thoughts? Your initial thoughts on this?
The serious sin in Islam is called the false witness. So somebody who didn't see, didn't hear,
didn't in the Bible.
It wasn't there, just decides to do a video. And he didn't do AY enough damage as far as I'm concerned. He did the baby, AY's wife, because I cannot imagine a video that alleges I am adulterous. As I'm sitting here. Or that alleges that a child I carried for 9 months is a bastard.
Miracle.
I'm just putting it so that people understand the seriousness of what he did in the video. So he said the child is a bastard. Said he didn't. AY is the least affected with the damage he did, as far as I'm concerned. It then goes to May, who is going through a trying time in her marriage. I don't know the details of it. I'm not choosing a side, but the woman is dealing with all of that. She's lost a son. She's suffering that, and he went, as in, he did worse than the lady that called Eniola Badmus a pimp. He went with a hammer to a paper fight, hit and damaged the reputation of each and everybody. As in, his mouth run like gutter, smelly.
Collect.
The mouth, as in basket mouth, talk nonsense and damage people's lives. And in his apology video, because I saw that video this morning, he was just sorry because he said nobody told him to do anything. He was just sorry because he now thought of what he had done. And he went in his apology, a very lame one at that. He said, I didn't do it because I wanted to harm you. I just needed. So if I just need it, I'll just look at Morayo and just...
I need money.
Yes, so.
I'll just need money. I'll just shout. I'll just stop. If I just broke, I don't have money to buy a house. I'll just abuse the president. I will just, because he said things are hard. When I return to Nigeria, I just needed the numbers on my page. So do anything. Kill anybody's family. Destroy anybody's life. But get your numbers. I said, and the painful part, the consumers of his news.
They might never get
it. He did it. He rushed the page. His numbers grew. I saw that.
So that's where I'm going to Nima, because the fact
I refused to listen to the video.
Yeah.
When I saw his apology, I listened and went back. So people stayed just because the way you wrote it.
Yeah.
And
that's where I'm going. That why do we seem so attracted to this kind of news? Because we are the ones fueling it. Nigerians who are listening and consuming this kind of messages are the ones fueling this kind of people, this desire to just get the numbers. And people so the effrontery to sit down in your house and just cook up a story. Okay, let me just think, let me just look at Tokwe like this and say, okay, this her hair was from this place. It was from
When I traveled, I did not go with my husband. It's somebody else.
Remember when you told me that somebody said they saw me somewhere?
They sent to me too.
I thought I
Somebody
remember.
sent to me. Sent me a message, said he saw that he saw Morayo with somebody. And after I said,
but if he saw her with somebody,
What did you see them doing?
it is impossible. The way I replied the person just shut up. But how many people will
just
know you
come, so
enough?
just sit down and say, okay, today I'm talking about Nima.
No, you see that one
If
that
I
you
say
call
this
Tope,
hijab, let me be able
it's
to.
a gossip. But you see the one that goes and puts
He's a criminal.
crowd.
With
He's a
ring
criminal.
light.
Those,
Let's
like
call
that
it.
Eniola's video. I kept saying, Eniola, please don't leave this girl. And I saw people in Nigeria saying she had no forgiving heart and dragging her and politicizing the damage that was done to her person.
Yes. Thank you for
Somebody
that.
put camera like this and say, I know for a fact, I've seen, YK does not do exercise. She did surgery.
She had done BBL.
I was the hospital. The doctor that did it is my father, my family. As in, that's how convincing they put the video. Some people, in the past, I have this attitude of don't respond to negative. What you do is that when you don't address those people, you don't criminalize what they've done. You don't lock them and let them face the consequence of it. Some people will say there's an element of truth. They say out of
Yes.
There's no smoke without fire.
They see something.
I wish
There must be something
It's
there.
happening. It's happening.
There is smoke without
As
fire.
I said before, is the least affected, but other parties affected for the purpose of
Okay,
this.
we have
If
to
you are
wrap up
watching,
on this.
it is criminal defamation because you don't need the penny from this kind of people. You don't need the damages that their civil suit will get you.
Yes.
But to see them locked up for the kind of heinous crimes they have done for selfish reasons is the reward that you need. So that people will see their story as precedent and know better.
Yeah.
There's one popular man. He's from my state that got popular like this. He will just put video every day.
Talking rubbish.
Saying he's the fighter for the people. I didn't consume it. Why? I could have just consumed it because it's from my state. But just the method and way it was done.
Was trending.
That's not the way press and what's our article calling it? Journalism.
Journalism.
Journalism. Those kind of things.
Investigative.
Careful what you consume.
Journalism.
Careful the person's life who is being destroyed so you can get high on somebody.
Let me go on a very short break. When you come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing defamation. You're going to talk about...
Yes, so I've realized that naturally human beings don't like each other. Especially if you're still at the base level of consciousness where you're still struggling with shame and guilt and, the lowest vibrations. I don't want to break it down here because there's no time for it. So, and I know that it's the lazy human mind that is usually entertained with bad news. They see it as entertainment. Anything that that just hurts another person to show me that this person is not better than me. Maybe they've been making money. They have been superstars. They have been blowing. They do anything. God blesses them. They are traveling around the world. And so you wait and latch on any similitude of bad news because you want to justify why you are where you are. After all, the rich also cry. After all of us, nobody is perfect. And so we hold on to that. And so these people will continually have a market because unfortunately, the majority of human minds are in that lowest level of consciousness, very low. And the only way we can change it is to help people wake up, to understand that we are in this together. Your win is my win is your win. If you are falling, I should be holding you up in prayer. Unfortunately, every Sunday, the churches are full of these same people that in the evenings, they are looking at blogs, waiting for the stories. There's a particular blog that drops story that if you see the crowd, once they block them from Instagram, I'm telling you, they will jump to another page, and before you know it, millions of people are following. Who are those people? The same church members, the same Muslims, the same traditionalists. We are all in that space where we are waiting, crowd mentality. Let something happen to this person. She's too happy, safe. He's too happy, safe. You are not happy that somebody else is happy. So it can happen to people like this. This life, oh, this life.
I don't say no pure.
I don't
say no pure.
My people, they say for you,
No,
be
it's
careful.
painful.
Be careful what you do with a visiting relative for fear, or your child, for fear that, you know, if God blesses you right after, they don't say you have done something. So you be careful how you work out. But it is sad, just as BC has said, that we consume and encourage this.
We encourage them.
Is this social media that some people say it is the best freedom of speech, platform for freedom of speech, that we see the abuses constantly like this. And you will see some people say now, do not regulate. Because if this person, beyond this, is regulated, for instance, as he was giving those allegations, let's assume there's a regulation, certain unsubstantiated things would block it
immediately
from going. Government has restricted the use of this to this point, as like this to this point. So that such publication, before the damage go wide, is controlled. We will say, no, they have gagged us. It's gagging. We don't see the damage of it until it happens.
Let me take Joy. Good morning, Joy. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Close.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I don't think they should forgive this guy, to be very honest, because this same guy last year came out to say that he was the father of your Edochie's son, the one he had with his second wife. He came out making claims that he's the rightful father of the child and all of that, and all in the name of chasing clout. I don't think this is something that should be taken lightly. I don't think this is something that we should just let go. If they don't use him to set an example, more people like him will keep coming out daily.
All right, so you're saying he's a repeat offender. This is the same guy. But we'll see how that happens.
Yes,
But
this is the same
yeah,
guy.
thank you very much for sharing. Well, the truth is, we'll take a few comments as we wrap up on this. But I think I love the way you wrapped it up, really, because we, the consumers, have our own faults, and also those who just sit in their houses and mob it, they know there's a market for it, and that's why they continue to whip up all these stories just to get traction. Let's take a few comments and we wrap up on this segment.
Snam says, lazy, jobless people follow Mumu like that. Oladidi says, the heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can know it? Mr. Pepple says, conspiracy theorists who say AY is behind this to trend because of his movie, Merry Men. I say, please.
Olawale says, this guy went too fast in selling. He should be forgiven, but that does not mean he should not face the repercussions. Otumba Bademosi said, there's consequence for every action. He should be made to face the consequence of his action.
Let me take Rotimi, our last call for this segment. Good morning, Rotimi. Well, I'm so sorry, lost that call. Do you have any story?
Yes.
Okay.
Mina says we must push for social media regulation. This is getting too much.
This cyber bullying and cyber stalking is a very serious issue in Nigeria. The federal government actually make attempts to regulate social media. The same mainstream media were the one they use to calm down, to calm the government down and to shout, to bully them down.
Yeah.
Government, see, this thing that is happening in Nigeria, the social media space, our social media space is so corrupt. The most corrupt social media space, especially TikTok in Nigeria space, is so open, you will see different kind of fake news. They will come up that the video was dead. I watched one day say Omotayo Bilade was dead. I went to Google to go and search. One posted that Telegram was dead. This thing is happening in Nigerian social media space and nobody is doing anything about it.
Yeah.
I hope the Nigerian police can use their power to regulate this thing so that this same guy, when I watched that video about AY being the person that destroyed Yul and his wife marriage, I was mad. Say, what is happening in Nigeria? Why will all this social media bullying stop? For instance, one other thing I want you guys to tell our government, they should make sure WhatsApp office come to Nigeria. WhatsApp is abusing us, bullying us, everything. Somebody will just report you with a simple mistake. WhatsApp will flash your app. And they don't have...
Thank you very much, Rotimi. I was talking to somebody over the weekend, and we were in a circle, and he was saying that if he was in government, he would just tell government to just legalize guns for every Nigerian to carry. He was talking about the insecurity. He was frustrated about the insecurity. He said, and in his own mind, there's nothing wrong with you having a gun, me having a gun, and we know I'm able to use it when we see. I said, because you are in a bubble. Because you're thinking that I think like you. But look across the street. That security man, give him a gun. Or look at that driver or that young boy, that rich man's son who is spoiled silly, right? Look at him. You give him a gun because he's 18 years old and you think he's smart and rational enough to make the right decisions. He wouldn't.
That's all.
So it goes back to the self-regulation that we lack.
Reasoning.
So you're giving us this tool. Now, you compare us. You tell me, oh, they have in California is legalized. And I'm thinking, the citizen there,
what they're
compared to
dealing
the
with
citizen.
now. No, but talk about what they're dealing with.
I'm just saying,
but it's even different.
Yes. The point I'm making is that the ability to self-regulate.
Yes, we don't have.
Yeah, we don't have that much. Not all of us. There's a good number of millions of Nigerians who are not able to understand the difference. In their own, it's an opportunity. Everybody is doing this thing and they're getting clout.
99%.
Let me just put my own story and post it and get my own clout.
Another very important
addition
to that point is they have stronger institutions. Their judiciary system works faster than here. So you will get your justice. It does work. If you go to court, you will get your justice in a shorter time than it will take you to get it here. So because they are strengthening everybody knows. You are watching TV in America, their legal adverts are there per second telling you, have you been, did you have accidents? Have you been defamed? Is there. So you know the number to call. And they will not even ask you for anything. They will do the case for free and collect the damages. That's where they will get their own money. So how many lawyers do we have here that will do case for you?
You can
sue for falling down. So that system is different from the system here, where if I want to take a case, you defame me, I will still spend millions of naira to get justice for myself.
So imagine if I was a lawyer like you and I can put an advert on TV and say, have you been defamed? Please call my number. Everybody, their brain will be set. You know that they'll call me now because now the system is different.
Yes.
It's constantly being checked. So it's not as if somebody is smarter or they're better. It's because they have a system that is checking back to back.
That's why I say.
And our ethics do not allow adverts.
I know.
But we do. All these things that you talk about. And I can guarantee you in the world, there's no perfect judicial system.
Oh, yeah, we know
all of them have their clogs and whatever. So that comparison, I just don't want to sit here.
I know you know what
everything
in reality you can choose.
It's not for us to do. We need to ripen into something.
Yes.
We need to create countries that I know that their social media space is so regulated. Things that the children cannot see.
You
won't even see.
Are they not progressing?
They're progressing. That's what I'm saying. So we cannot say we're not Americans. We cannot say because the Americans are free to do whatever they want to do. So Nigerians should be free. Are we free in our minds? We're not free in our minds. So you can't give somebody who does not even understand what freedom means. That's freedom, and that's why we mess it up. We make a mess of the whole system. So we can now say it has not worked for us, this level of freedom that we have. We will put in some regulations so that we begin gradually to build the system. As we get more civilized, we can open up. We can be. You don't give your child
a car because you love the child.
You love the child.
You don't give your child blade because he can sharpen pencil. You know it's dangerous. I want to say that the countries where these social media companies are domiciled, the America of America, they have regulated a sitting president. When the wrong got him out, they blocked him to protect their country.
Before.
But we are users.
We copied it.
If somebody were to block an influencer who runs Gotham out, we will say, they have gagged him. Did they gag Trump when he tried that nonsense that he did then? That went to the integrity and the sovereignty of their country.
We're not free in our minds.
They did the right thing. They blocked him. They recently they blocked him so that he couldn't even open any other kind of page. And the country, the whatever was domiciled in his country of birth.
Exactly.
We are users. We will have a problem if an influencer, not the evil president, is blocked for using something that goes to the core of our nation.
And if we try to do what the Asian countries did of creating our own, Nigerians would not fight it.
Because we have follow mentality, which means that
we are not free in our minds.
Our colonialists are better than us.
Okay, this is our own WhatsApp.
We will not use it.
We will not use it.
It has to come from America for it to be quality.
It's substandard.
It has to come from America for it to be quality. I was going to respond to
Wait, let me hear talk about that. Let me break it a bit.
I think that it's extremely important that well, when we have this conversation, we also educate the audience to know that it's not everything you see that you will believe, because you will see a lot of things. Even going to Google to go and check, if you are not getting facts from Google anymore. What we have heard now is Google gives you the information they think you want to hear. And that is part of the problem. So we must learn to decipher the truth by ourselves and not just say, oh, I believe in this blog. Anything this blog carries. There's a particular blog that has been very demonized. And people that follow that blog, they will say that anything, or if he has said it, if this person has said it. People
believe in that blog more than they believe in Jesus Christ.
They believe in the blog. If the blog said it is verified, you know they lie. And I'm looking at the person, I'm wondering, Jesus.
And you went to school?
As in, like, you have brain. And somebody that you don't know, that you've never met before, has created and locked you up into this place. It's not everything you see.
Let me take this call.
That you should believe. Question even the Bible says we should question. So if the religion say question it,
Sukomi from Ekwe.
Social media.
Good morning, Sukomi. You're live.
Yeah, it's good, Morayo. You have actually given Madam Nima a task.
Sorry?
To open yourself for like this, at least defamation and stuff. At least maybe probably we'll start from there. It's good you have given her a task. My contribution is wounded because of one person he gets. And I think this thing is I want to say there is even...
There was a point you made that I wanted to say something on that. The last point you were talking about.
We have a brain, we don't remember, we don't question things, and somebody we don't know can ask us, questions. I feel like you should learn to question everything you see, even if you see it. Now,
even if you see that thing, and that looks true, and you think maybe it's true, there's got to be something in your mind that says it may not be.
Exactly.
Give it a 0.0% chance that, okay, there's something that this has been probably embellished, has been done to get my attention. So doubt it or critique it or be skeptical. Or be silent about
Islam,
it until we have enough information to know.
Evidences that you must put down for adultery, because it's a life consequence, it's death penalty, and in a grievous way, is to be sure you saw the act. So remember when we were taking the class and the professor then was teaching us, I was like, he said, no. Did you see the entry and exit? I was like, that they enter. I said, the 4 parties who must allege, as in the husband comes in and meets his wife with somebody having sex. Then he goes out. He will find 4 witnesses who will come in and see the act.
Yes, sir.
Not that when I came, the 3 of them have seen it, they now told me that evidence, that prosecution will fail in Islamic evidence. If 2 of them, it's my mother so my mother can never lie, fail. All 4 parties will see. After they see, they would give that witness. And even after they've given that witness, the victim can say, they have lied, and I swear to God it didn't happen. And evidence will still fail. Because that person has said, I don't fear God, I say it didn't happen. And you will still see that somewhere in the north, they will still say they're successfully prosecuted. You can't find the precedent anywhere in the world. It's life-taking. It's something that you must either... I'm saying that you see. Even when you see, you can walk away.
Thou shalt not bear false witness. It's one of the commandments. You know, we like to choose the one we want to obey and the one that we ignore because it's touching some senses that is giving you some form of fulfillment that you cannot get from your work. There are people I know that do not go to all those blogs and all those pages looking for gossip. They are too busy. And if they see anything that they don't understand or they don't like, they just walk on by. But we have a crop of individuals who all their work is waking up in the morning to go and look for stories that would excite some of the things that they are missing. They have a problem and they need healing for that problem.
They also have a goal. Did you watch Funke Akindele's She? The person who sat behind 4 phones. The person had a goal. The goal is to destroy, tear apart somebody else. While, and creating the cloud. So you're aiding a person to take advantage of damages, of destruction that the person is doing by consuming, by enjoying it, by giving the reads and numbers and all of that to that page, only to find out at the end of the movie, very, very sensible work.
Let me just read a few comments and we wrap up. Tumba Karim says, this word called apology and the Yoruba version of it, ejo, mabinu, can sometimes be nauseating, and annoying.
Very.
Until when penalties are paid either by jail term or monetary value, it may persist. Cyberbullying and stalking are criminal offenses that, and the deterrent is urgently needed to sanitize the space in Nigeria. I think we can wrap up with that. So in a nutshell, defamation obviously is a crime, and cyberbullying obviously is a crime. And when things like this happen, we need to make sure the law takes its full course so that it can serve as a deterrent onto others. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, move on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So our second hot topic. A woman is being brutalized, was being brutalized by her husband, her ex-husband, for putting marks on their children. So there was a viral video of a man who was seen attacking his wife on her way to her shop. According to him, he claimed he had seen strange marks on their children's heads. And the wife explained that she put the marks to fend off spiritual attacks and protect the children. This angered the man, and he hit her with a stone. Now, what are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 08107641679, 0902416340. You can also tweet to us at TVC Entertainment _. We'd love to hear from you. Now, let me just restate the fact that ex-husband, which means they are no longer together. It's possible they're doing shared parenting. Okay. So maybe the parents, the kids were with her in her custody. And because they were in her custody, at some point she had to release them to the husband, to the ex-husband. And while in her custody, maybe through her spiritual counseling, her family rituals or tradition to protect her children, she made an independent decision to put those marks on her children. Wow. Now, maybe the children now went over to the father's house and he saw it. Now, he got angry, and instead of having a conversation, he comes to her to hit her head on the stone. So there are two different issues here. Let's start with the lady's decision to put those marks on her own children, not a stranger's children, on her own children.
But not only one person they born picking. Because you carry the child does not mean that it was your seed. So it's two of you came together, two of you co-own those children. And every decision that has to do with those children's lives and their future must pass through both of you. That's how it's done. That's the sanest thing to do. If you suspected evil spirits disturbing your children, probably by the time they came home to stay with you, why don't you call your husband? Even get his thoughts on it. Some men do not like that form of thing at all. They will tell you, leave this child, God will protect. Some people do not believe in that. Let me even give you a personal experience. So when my grandma was raising me, there was a time I was constantly falling sick. Constantly. My father was not available at the time. And I remember she would take me to the hospital. The next week, she's back to the hospital. You know, she keeps going back, and she was so concerned. She would cry. I would see her cry and all of that. There was a time I could not walk. I couldn't move my legs. You know, I was bedridden. And so she panicked, and she called one of the elderly people in the village at the time to come see me. And by the time the lady came, she looked at me and she said, are you sure it's not Obanje that is disturbing this girl? That she would like to give me this incision, this one that they do 2-2 here and 2-2 here. The way my grandmother screamed, they say, the father will kill me. That I know. Right now, I cannot reach him to ask him what his take is on it, and I cannot take the decision myself. I was happy she did that, because imagine me on this table now with these two.
You'll still be crying.
And when she was true to her words, when my father finally came and she had that conversation, my father said, but mommy, you know, I would have killed you, you know? So you cannot just take that decision because you feel I carry them more. You know that 9 months gives us like this bragging right. They stayed with me more and all of that. It's totally wrong. What she did was wrong. You say we should not talk about the husband first.
Wait.
So it will look like I'm supporting him on the beating.
I want to bring this angle with the husband because there's sometimes the possibility that a woman, especially because from this story, it seems like they're divorced and they're not together.
It doesn't matter.
She might feel that the spiritual problem that is troubling your father, I'm beginning to see this in this my children, and I want to protect them. Maybe because sometimes when you leave a man, you feel that maybe their demons are disturbing him. That's why you want to protect your children, or you feel that he has remarried somebody
who is a witch.
So there are different reasons. Like a woman will say, you know what? Let me give you these marks.
We can't judge. We can't judge people. The only person that can be judged in this story is the man who committed battery, who beat up his wife. That's the only person I'll judge.
No,
any other judging you judge, you are judging based on your worldview of someone's belief. Our great-grandfathers and grandfathers and great-great-great-grandfathers believed in the power of incision. On Sigbere lati joy. They've been using it as a way to protect. They use it as a way to insert herbs into the body. Some are not even about demonic attacks. It's about the fact that if I open this place, I'll now put herbs. The herbs go into your bloodstreams. It protects you in one way or the other. For whatever their beliefs is. Judging that woman is me saying that your belief is wrong. My own belief is better, that God is more powerful. That's the way I see it.
We are not judging.
That's the way I see it. So for me, I look at that person and I'm like, could you have done it better? 100%. Could you have discussed and found a way to convince your husband? Maybe not marry an unreasonable man. So if you now find yourself married to a man that you're already divorced, which means that there is no, you guys struggle to find a way to communicate with each other to the extent you divorced. Your decision to protect your child as you see fit is your responsibility.
It's not just your
there
child.
There are many people that they will put agbo. How many of us have our mothers forced us to take agbo?
Yes.
And in this modern times, some people can say, what is agbo? I use my pills. I use my medicine. I believe in the blood of Jesus. Guess what? In my school, somebody did not take medicine because the father is a pastor and the father says the blood of Jesus heals all sicknesses. This person has diabetes. Type 1 child, diabetes. So everybody, if you believe wrongly, I'm not judging your belief, but for you to beat a woman because she did an incision, why can't you find you will discuss it, you are angry and you are lashing out on the child.
The story is that he saw an incision on his children's head. And the wife cannot explain
where he entered,
how the incisions came about. So he targeted her. She didn't set well. He was provoked and wrongly.
The lawyer has spoken.
For the stone. No, he might just get off it. If he says, for the fear of my children, I question that she didn't answer me. And that provocation just might stand. And sadly, Tokpa will be shocked because the only place provocation does not absorb fully is in murder cases. He might just get off it. His children too. Yes. Whatever fears you have to sing better, 17, 14, whatever number on their heads, is what he has to say, no, do not touch my children. Equal rights in parenting. No parent can be arrested for the kidnap of their child. Thank you. So even if that conversation is difficult, I think that the grievous bodily harm Tokpa is addressing is the consequence of having to do it. I'm saying
she's talking as a lawyer.
Don't say it.
Allow her.
Justifying another cases.
I'm just saying,
Let's be careful.
Allow her.
Choose a provocation. Consequence.
There's a provocation.
Okay.
Allow her.
Wait.
Allow our lawyer, please.
I come into a place and see my child with some funny looks on them. Cane marks now. How do you think I will welcome that teacher? You think I can sit still and have a proper conversation? Then you will understand I'm provoked because I'm a mother. But because he's a father now, I'm just saying we're trying to rationalize.
Even the one you just said, I don't agree.
We are trying to rationalize things.
Everybody's not you.
We are reasoning together.
Okay, yeah.
Just because he's of a different gender doesn't make him less provoked.
Yes, thank you.
We are discussing his children too.
Okay.
And you are their mother. You owe him that conversation. Recently in my marriage, I have been faced with tough decisions. My daughter is schooling in a system I did not subscribe to, but it is a father's choice. I didn't want it. I begged. In fact, normal style first I do agidi. Later I humble. I beg. Later I devise crime. He says, I want my daughter to go through this educational system. These are my reasons. I saw the reasons, but me, my own is that my child can never go to boarding school. It's not possible. It's something I have subscribed for, against for long, that it will not happen. But she's schooling there. And we have to look for the better good. Did I say to him, who are you?
To tell me.
Don't do that.
So
Now it's even
Independence.
tougher when you're separated. It's tougher. You will now have to find a way to get that conviction.
Yes,
because
so-
he can go to court.
Yes.
And sadly, he will be shocked. Even if he did not touch her and show the court, says, this is children, this is what she's, and she will never see those kids again.
Yes.
Okay, let's put this in the proper perspective.
Yes. Can I?
I get. Okay, I wanted to understand what we're hearing.
Okay.
So when our viewers are watching, they understand this.
Okay.
You are saying that people's belief systems should be respected. That you're not judging the woman. You are saying that there's something called provocation.
Yes.
That could have led to that act. So it wasn't as if he would naturally beat her up, but that thing he saw provoked him for battery. Now you are saying that in the law, there's a possibility he might get off.
Yes.
Because if he can prove provocation.
Yes.
Now you're also saying that it happens in a situation whereby a woman slaps
another
teacher.
teacher uses cane and you see cane marks.
And then she
The woman goes
responds.
to slap.
Also, she can also
That's
excuse her
provocation
reaction
too.
by the
Who
law.
will then excuse the reaction
So-
and say she was provoked? But
When I started, I said, Morayo, will you allow me go to the man so that it will not look like I was just supporting the woman? And she said, no, we'll come back to that. So I've come back to that. The man overreacted. And I know how you have explained it as provocation, which happens to many of us in different situations. Sometimes we sit back and we're analyzing, no, if it's me, I will just walk away. It will be you and you will not walk away. You would have done something before realizing that I overreacted. The man could have overreacted from a place of pain. We always assume that the woman has more of the interest of the children at heart, especially in this part of the world. And all the sacrifices men make, we gloss over it. We don't exactly. We don't see those sacrifices. The man could have seen those children, and he was so pained he didn't just know how to react, right? But his reaction is wrong.
Thank you.
And that will be handled. The law also will take care of that.
he was arrested.
Yes, he has committed a crime in that, and that will be handled. That's separate from the first issue, which is, should I have a conversation? When you are going through divorce, you don't know that it will be more difficult. When we are even at home with those of us that are at home with our husbands and, having to discuss our children, we have tough sometimes your husband will not agree on something. You will not agree on something, but you find a way. So when you are divorced, you are going through that divorce, you will work twice as hard because now you will have to wait till whenever he's available for that conversation and vice versa, right? Now, also, sometimes we assume that the woman or one party in that relationship knows better than the other. And so because my belief is now higher than your belief, so to speak, I should take this position when it comes to our children. When it comes to your children, if you believe in anything, I've been believing in universe since. Oga say, Auntie, when I met you, I did not meet universe. My children will go to church because all the scripture you're quoting and all these things you're doing, you grew from the church. So you will give my children that foundation. I humble. Maybe I've gone back to church. I'm going back to church. I'm doing my universe by myself. I'm making sure my children have grounding in the church. My son was arguing with me recently and was like, why am I going to church? Why? I say, Kamdeli, you hear me speak sometimes and you wonder how I know so much about the scriptures. And that's because I have a foundation. As an adult, I've been able to make different decisions based on what I've seen, but I came from somewhere. I'm trying to get you to come from somewhere. Tomorrow you can choose anything that you want. Nobody will hold you, but you must have that grounding. And I got him to understand that, right? To get to that place with my husband took us a while. It was a battle. We're fighting back and back. We'll sit down, we'll be arguing, we'll be quoting scriptures with each other, we'll be arguing. No, you don't. And at the end of the day, he saw from my perspective, because I did not lord it over him to say, I cannot even do that. To say, after all, my beliefs now are not higher than your own. You are still doing Jesus. I'm not universe. Universe is higher. This is this. No. In marriage, you must come with humility. You must listen to each other.
All right.
If you cannot do it for yourself, when it comes to the issues of your children, you must humble yourself.
Okay.
This is when we are talking about a reasonable, happy marriage that is on a journey, but reasonable, happy marriage. Like I said, maybe not marry an unreasonable woman or man.
Yeah.
Yes, where you cannot even communicate your conviction.
Absolutely.
Where you believe in something and it cannot happen. Some people are begging their partner for their child to get medical treatment. People die just because one man says, in my lineage, we don't collect blood transfusion. We don't do surgery. Women have died in the bed of, say, the man says, no, we are praying on the matter. You cannot do surgery to have this baby. Man and woman die. I know. personally, this story. So I'm talking about, I am a Christian. I don't believe in incisions. I don't believe in all those marks. But I know that the people that their entire being believes that if they don't take those incisions on their child, they are going to lose that child. How am I going to look at that person and say what they did is wrong? You cannot compare that one with them beating up a child. Do you understand? So if you beat up my child, you are exerting bodily harm on my child. Doing incision did not hurt that child. You don't know.
You collect before.
You don't know.
Did you collect?
We don't know.
It's painful.
I'm coming.
But it could have been painful.
We don't know.
Yes.
It could have been painful. Traditional marks were our culture. It was painful, but it was our culture. So and there are people today. There are people today that still believe that traditional mark is essential to the identity of who they are. It's not for me to go and tell them what they did is wrong. There are issues on both sides. The woman should have found a way to essentially communicate what she believes, no matter how tough it would have been. But if she was if she had conviction on that matter and the man was not reasonable, she could also, because imagine, you don't know what people know. If I am going through something that my mom does not, there are things that they don't, she now calls it allergy. But I was arguing against it. There are things they don't eat in their family line. It's allergy. But all they know is it's forbidden in our family for us to eat it. I'll now come and say, Mommy, it is low vibration. You don't know. You will eat it and it will not affect you. I don't understand that everybody in their lineage has been told not to eat it because they have allergy against it. So she's not eating it and she's so convinced she should not eat it. I did not eat it till I became an adult. I realized I don't have the allergy against it. But till tomorrow, if she eats it like this, it's scatter body. So conviction is important. Now, with the case of battery, please, let me just land this one of battery and provocation. I do not agree that you can be so provoked that you will be you are so provoked that you will become who you are not. You cannot be so provoked that you become who you are not. Pressure would only release content. You cannot squeeze orange so much and lemon will come out of the orange. The person is someone who beats. So when you squeeze the person, what will come out? Beating will come out because that is what is inside that person. If you are prone to violence, anything will provoke you to violence. That man there must have been a story of beating inside before. So self-control is very, very important when we are angry.
Extremely important. But when you lose it, that's where these defenses come in law. Because there's a possibility you can lose it. In fact, it's measured according to out proportion. Whether it's over proportion, under proportion, it's measured. And the courts and the judges who sit behind the bench know how they ration these things. But you know that family courts are not normal courts. They are not normal criminal court and open courts. They're special courts. And their judges are specially trained to see things out of our way. Imagine, because I use the example of a mother and teacher now, it didn't work. Imagine the case, we took it before on this table, where a woman and a man married together had an argument about whether their child should do female genital mutilation.
Hey, that one.
The mother-in-law was living with them. No, they talk now. Everybody have belief.
Shebi na tradition.
The man's belief up all the way to Oshun is strongly that his child must be mutilated.
That won't enter.
Oh. The woman said,
that won't enter.
I don't believe it. It's not an emergency. So the kukuma concord this mother and her son. Baggage the pikin to Oshun within the weekend, say go weekend holiday. By the time they brought the child back mutilated, the woman was provoked. She did video. She was crying because she's a woman. You get some women be women. This thing will happen. Something will happen. You will not say that she pressured. She called lemon. But I'm rationalizing this now.
I didn't know what I was saying.
I agree.
But you will not bring
lemon. We have to wrap up.
We are going
you will not bring lemon.
I'm just
from
trying
orange.
to say that both parties are human. Both parties can be pressured. Anybody can love their child back.
Yes.
I have been privileged in my marriage. I named my kids.
Yeah.
I choose their primary school. I choose their nursery school. I took it all. And when he reached secondary school, their father showed up. I'm their father too. It took me time. I don't even feel cry coming on herself because I was on bed rest, crying alone inside my room on this issue that no, it must be what I have to. My daughter was in primary 3 when I found her secondary school. I was designed. I knew where I was heading. And I had to mellow because I'm in a marriage.
Yes.
Imagine that I was not in a marriage. Would you think it would be easier? When we were separated,
you will fight.
Court might even help us to choose the school eventually.
I'm telling you.
So
All right.
see, everything is not fight. Some things you must communicate it.
Okay, I think we have a guest.
I have
we have to wrap up.
I have it. My grandfather gave me because I'm supposed to be a big all his grandchildren, all of his children. I know it's not easy.
It's painful, emotionally damaging.
Thank you. And my husband will not allow me, for instance, now they're saying that my grandfather's lineage was.
I know as a child, as a Muslim child, then back then, I think, but when I was a kid, when I was like 7 or something years, I think somewhere, I can't remember, it's obviously cleared out, but I can't remember where it was, but I know that, I remember the Alpha, I remember the Alpha that came to our house to do it. I will never forget that man.
The fear of my father in my grandmother's heart saved me.
I don't even know.
Let's, that's all we can take on this, but the truth is that violence is not acceptable in any shape or form. Yes, there's provocation, but the truth is that you have to always control your emotions in whatever situations. And people have different belief systems. People are evolving. So just like you said, yes, there's the female genital mutilation, and there's also other beliefs. So some people, we have to just continue to evolve and educate and communicate. I think it was you that said that. Communicate. Yes. Really important. Okay, that's all we can take on this segment. When we come and bring in our guest, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us on this segment. We will be speaking with a cancer survivor. She'll be sharing her cancer story in a bid to give hope to others. Welcome with us, Yinka Shuemimo Koka. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's good to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure.
You know, once in a while, we like to bring in people who have survived cancer to share their stories. I remember, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I was telling somebody that I felt like a kind of lump somewhere in my chest here, and I got scared. I didn't even think twice. I went straight to go and get a mammogram. You know, I did because I was like, I've had too much information on this show to even ask questions. I didn't even tell my husband, I didn't tell anybody. Immediately, I went straight to the hospital to get it checked. So and it was fine. But tell us about your story and how you got to the point of diagnosis and then your healing process.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. This was in 2018, and I knew I was ill. I knew there was something wrong with me, but I couldn't just place it. So, I live in England, and most of the time, you have to go to your GP, and I kept on going to my GP, and they would tell me, oh, you're anemic, you know, because I felt tired. I was weak. I couldn't climb the steps. It happened the first day. The steps to my house was about 13. And normally within 1 minute, I would just fume and down, you know, but on this particular day, I knew I just couldn't climb it. And I was told to see my GP. So I went to see the GP, and the GP said, okay, I will refer you. They referred me to one of the hospitals, my local hospital. And when I got there, I was told that, oh, I'm short of blood, I'm anemic, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. So they gave me 2 pints of blood and 1 pint of iron transfusion. And I went back home. I was here, you know, with the blood level up now. I was energized and I could do a lot of things. And all of a sudden, come nighttime, I was weak again. So I called my GP at about 6 o'clock, because they close at 6. So about a few minutes to 6. And they said, oh, come very early in the morning at 7:30. So I went, okay, good. I went, and by that time, they wouldn't have opened anyway. So they left a note for me to rush back to the hospital. I went back there, and the same thing. So they started all the tests, the various tests, and there was no test I did not do. All manners of tests. But for 1 whole year, I was just told I was anemic. During that time, I used to be a size 18. Yeah, sometimes my top is a 20, you know. Wow. And they now told me, oh, are you tired? I said, of course I'm tired, you know. And all the symptoms were there.
Right.
I was jaundice, I had pains, unexplainable weight loss, and...
for a year in the UK, they just told you
UK,
it was just an
yeah.
anemia.
So on this particular day, then my dad died. Came back here, and I was told immediately I come back, make sure you go back, report yourself to the hospital. So I did that, and really and truly, by the time I got back, my blood level was low again. But it was on this particular day, on the December, and I was in and out of hospital 4 days, 5 days, in and out. And on this particular day, I was told that my husband now said, look, you need to go to seek second opinion, which I did. And it was at that second opinion, they now took me to another hospital, which is King's College Hospital. And it was there I was diagnosed that was 3rd of January 2019, I was diagnosed with cancer, pancreatic cancer. And as at that time, I was told there's no possibility that I may not make it. Because as at that time, I was frail. I was like a 92-year-old woman. I was really frail. And that was it. That's the story, you know. And then...
But I hear pancreatic is one of the worst.
Yes, it is.
You hardly to go. My mother had pancreatic cancer. She died, and it was stage 4.
Yeah.
What stage was yours in?
I was early stage 4. Yeah. I was just leaving. Yeah. And they were telling me that if I had waited 1 more week, that would, in short, I wouldn't have even survived it at all. And as at that time, I did my tests and all those things, and I went through almost 11 hours of surgery. I was there from 8, they started at 8, and I did not come out until about 8:30 at night.
So, let's establish this. The UK medical team, they were not able to detect. They missed it for a full year. Yeah. But later, when you sought a second opinion. Yeah. So I would also like you to advise people who sometimes they just stay with one hospital and then they are taking treatments, but they are not seeing results on how to go about it using your story. That's one. Yeah. Then secondly, I would like you to take us through your healing process. The tests that you did, the medications that you got, and how was the support you had that helped you, heal?
Now, first thing first, when you have a kind of illness that is persistent, never relent. It happens all over the world. Never relent. Don't say, oh, because it is England, then they are perfect. No, there's no perfect country, you know. So that is one thing. There's no perfect country. It could happen anywhere, but just be persistent. And then sometimes you will go to to your GP, and your GP will say, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You are the owner of your body. Yeah. You own your body. So you tell them, look, I am not feeling fine. And if anything happens to me, then you'll be responsible. And you now see that things will now change. You know, it will change. But there are some hospitals, you know, I want to balance it up. There are some hospitals that are really diligent, you know. But that doesn't mean that people won't die in that hospital. Yeah. You know, they do still die, but just be persistent. Yeah. That's just it. When you know that there's something wrong with you, make sure you keep on banging on it.
And the support you got during healing.
Support you got during your healing.
Yeah, my healing process, it was good. I was blessed in the sense that I had a good team. My surgeon was, in short, one of the best surgeons, you know, in England. And, you know, when you have a kind of surgery that I had, most of the time you don't even see your surgeon again. But with me, I kept on seeing my surgeon because I was one of those surgeons that used a kind of special, it was a kind of treatment, you know. Yeah, it was an invention which they used, and he was good. So he kept on seeing me. Even though I left the hospital after about 2 months, when I was rushed back again within 1 week. You know, there was the water fluid behind my lungs. So they had to take me back for another 4 days, you know, no, 1 week. And the team was good. I was looked after, and I was given a carer, you know, to look after me. And don't forget, the surgery is from the left to the right. I mean, from the right to the left, all through. Everywhere. Yeah. And as at the time I was discharged, I had an open wound. Wow. So, and they could not put it back again. So they had to put like a kind of plastic around it so that for infection purpose, which, and I had people coming to treat me at home and things like that. And apart from this, the medical, I had my church. Yeah, I had my church. One thing I know is that in any community in which you are, always have somebody. You know, I have my family. I have a very close-knit family, and they were there for me. My siblings were there. They were all coming from England, America, you know, Nigeria to come and support me. And even though I had my carers as well to support me, my carers, top-notch. They were good. I had one particular carer for 1 whole year, you know, who was really very good. So.
what just reminded me, this is very close to home. We've experienced this. And the treatment was one of the things that we didn't understand why and how it was done. What kind of treatment exactly did you get? Did you do chemo? Did you do...
Yes. Apart from the surgery, I had chemo, and it was 6 months. I had 6 months surgery, and it was every other week. Now, what I want to elaborate on, it's that cancers differ. You have different kinds of cancers, over 100 and whatever cancers they have, but whatever kind of cancer you have, there is always the low, medium, and maximum level they give you. It depends on your tolerance. If your tolerance is low, then you're not able to have the high dose. I had the highest dose because I was told that without the highest dose, in short, I'm a goner, So I had to have it, Some people, I think we were about 8 in the clinical team, and almost everybody passed away, and So that is regarding the treatment.
So I want to...
and then, sorry, please. And then we have your dietitian as well, who will have to work with you, and dietitians
sounds like a
differ.
perfect health system, because I'm trying to
I'm
really trying really hard to relate it to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Because one of the things what we want to do is to inspire. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is exactly the line of question I wanted to ask, because we're talking to the people you're talking to right now, less than 1% of them, less than 1% of them would have access to the kind of health support and healthcare that you had. And yet we need to give them hope that it is possible for them to survive. So I'd like us to talk about your mental state, because that's the one thing we can give to those watching
connect
right
with
now.
them.
Yeah. So please, can you tell us about what was your mental state? Were there other people who had your similar conditions to yours that didn't make it? And what would you feel was, aside from all the medical care, how did the mental state support?
Yeah. And, okay, I was transferred to about 6 wards while I was there in the hospital. And you can now imagine when every time you are in a ward, somebody dies just beside you. In the morning, in the night you say good night. In the morning, that person is no more. In the afternoon, you are saying you're having a nap. You're just hearing them pulling the wheel all over the place. The person is gone. So you can imagine the trauma that goes on in your head. But one thing kept me, my faith. And I want to say it is not about you know how to pray. It's not about the prayer, but it's about the mercy of God. It's about the mercy. Yes, the prayer is key, but it's about the mercy and love. Sometimes it is not the cancer that kills. It's the fear of the unknown that destroys. My doctor told me one thing, that if I tell a patient that you have cancer, her response will tell me whether that person will survive or not. So one thing is that the fear is what we must take away, because really and truly, cancer is like, I know it's a terrible disease, but it's like any other kind of disease. People have headache and they die. Yeah. You can be going on the main road and somebody, and that is it.
Going back to what Tokwe has said earlier concerning the emotional connect, I like to the moment you got diagnosed, that time, give us an idea of what was going through your mind, or the options you're thinking. Like, how would you, that moment, tell us about it.
Now, for me, it was a different scenario. When the doctors came in, and my husband was there, my family were there, and they said, oh, Mrs. Kauka, I'm so sorry, you have pancreatic cancer. I said, no, that wasn't what God told me. That was my first reaction. You will not believe it. And they will tell you, is this woman, have you gone cuckoos? I said, no. I said, in the first place, God was the one that created me, and he created me beautifully. And because he created me beautifully, he decides to reside in me. And how can light and darkness, because cancer really is darkness, how can light and darkness cohabit? That was my first reaction, And I just, sometimes you can, if it's what you have that you pour out. It was the Bible verses that I was able to remember as at that time that I used. And that was what really helped me kept, and I don't ask God, please, that faith that is as little as a mustard seed, I just need that faith to carry on, because it's a long journey. It's a long journey, and you cannot go along with it on your own, because, let me tell you, sometimes your mindset, even now, sometimes you, after the whole thing, you feel lonely inside you. When you've gone through cancer, you feel really lonely.
So let's talk about the support, you know, social support that you might have had, or do you even have one that you have created because you know because you suffered the lack of it?
Yeah. During my time, unfortunately, I didn't have one. But there was this hospice I was taken to. It's called the Greenwich and Bexley Hospice. They were the one who sent a befriender to me, you know. And when they send a befriender to you, they will be there for 1 hour. You don't want to talk about cancer. It's just something else. It could be movies, it could be anything, just to distract you away, you know. And the way they come in is so silent, you know. They just tell you things, and by the time you know what is happening, that 1 hour is gone. And, you know, sometimes they might say, oh, do you want to go and watch a movie? They will pay for it, you know. And that was one of the things that I saw that was actually lacking in the midst of we black people. For the British, they have a lot of support.
Could it also be because we have family here? They don't have a lot of family close-knit.
No, it's not because of that. Because majority of us really don't speak out. I'm telling you, majority of us, we don't speak out. It is by the time you know what is happening, it has spread or that person is gone. And they'll tell, I have a black family who lives very close to my house. I saw her, I was battling mine as at that time, because really and truly, I couldn't go to the toilet on my own. I could not use my limbs. These limbs that you saw me walking, I couldn't use it. My husband had to carry me, you know. My children will have to carry me. My nurse will have to carry me, you know. But how many people would want that kind of thing to happen?
So did you pay for this out of pocket, or was
No,
it government?
it was government. It was a government, you know. Everything that I went through was the government that supported, the NHS. They supported us, you know. And that is one of the things why I get so infuriated about Nigerians. Majority of us go abroad. Majority of our politicians, they go abroad. But why can't you utilize this same support system here? Because it's a robust system. One, your health, they will have to, your diet, they will be there, your day-to-day activity, your medication, and don't forget, even the medication I took, it is very expensive. Some, it is close to £2,000 per one tablet.
Yes.
Per one tablet. So you can imagine, but we can do it.
Yes,
we can actually do it. We have people who have money in this country. If it is only for this particular hospital for cancer patients, they can do it. It can be done, you know, because they sacrifice themselves too, you know. And that was one of the things I saw, and that was how I started.
So you're going to talk about
the changer.
Okay, the changer.
Yes, the changer. And what does the changer mean? The changer means God that turned around my situation for good. Because really and truly, I was really down, you know, and God just changed it, turned it around, you know. And how did he turn it around? From being nothing, you know, from being on the floor, and he raised me up, you know. And that was why I said, the changer. That is the name I'm going to give.
That's the name to your foundation.
And what is the changer all about? The changer is to support it's a non-profit voluntary organization. It's a Christian non-voluntary organization that supports people from when diagnosed with cancer, during, after, and full recovery. Because we found out that even during full recovery, you still feel very lonely. And what do? We take them out for brunch, you know.
As in Nigeria or outside Nigeria?
No, in England.
Oh, so the
changer, yeah.
In England?
Yeah, the changer. We have few members here. I'm actually taking them out tomorrow, you know. So we have them here.
So only subscribed members?
It depends on those who approach us, you know. Those that approach us, you know.
It's registered in England and it helps people.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. You know, even though they will tell us that the funding that is being given to us by the organization is supposed to be utilized in England. But because we do our own funding, extra funding, we still help people. We can't forget our home.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate you. And congratulations on the fact that you were healed.
Yes, in the name of Jesus. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
so that's all we can take on today's show. I hope we learned a few things. We have a few comments on social media on this, or we can move on. Let's see if we can take one or two.
I got engrossed.
All right. Okay. All right. So that's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.